mighty power and its grace. There's a holy hush around us, I see glory in its face. Surely the presence of joy is in this place. Surely the presence of peace is in this place. I can feel its loving power and its grace. There's a holy truth within us that no error can replace. Surely the presence of peace is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its tender power and its grace. There's a holy glow within us that nothing can erase. Surely the presence of love is in this place. How do we feel this morning? Each of us kind of take a look at our feelings this morning. And maybe some of us are filled with joy, peace, and hope, and love. Maybe we're feeling kind of crummy. And we're feeling down. There's a couple things we can do. We could ask ourselves, what could I possibly do to maybe improve the way I feel? Another question we could ask is, wow, I'm feeling really good. How can I share some of this light and this goodness with folks that aren't doing so hot? Our feelings, that's what drives our bus, folks. That's what sets the mood for our days. So I think it's important to pay attention, kind of identify. And if our feelings are kind of crummy, then maybe we can get some help to feel better, to change that gloomy stuff. And then there's another thing about this life. Sometimes we're not supposed to feel great. Because when we do feel great, we appreciate it more. Because we know that all of us have pain and suffering and gloom to deal with throughout periods of our life. But we're family. And we can reach out in the physical and the metaphysical dimensions of life and share our light and our love and our courage with each other to maybe shift some of those feelings a bit. And so it is.
Good morning. Part of what I'm feeling is anticipation in what I'm going to say today, since I was informed 11 minutes ago that I'm delivering the mini message today. And it's actually a good time because Memorial Day is a day I think about a lot. I know, certainly from a young man's perspective, remembering when one is 19 years old in this country, you are easily convinced of the rightness of going off to fight. You're easily convinced that there's something you need to prove. More so. than that convincing. That's why young teenage men do incredibly stupid things, like running red lights at high speed, flying aircraft at very low altitudes, riding motorcycles when you're 15 years old and wondering where in the world your parents got the idea that this was okay. All three of those are true, by the way, from my own experience. And last year I spoke about Memorial Day, about my nephew Mike being 19 years old in Iraq and watching 25 of his buddies, one by one, be killed. And learning what it's like to be the one doling out death, that difficulty, that challenge, that conundrum that he runs into, and he still struggles with to this day. It's complicated. We're told that there are enemies. I think about the Russian and Ukrainian soldiers being called to fight. Especially think of the Russian people, Russian men who are called to fight. Many of whom I'm sure realize that they're not being told the entire truth of what's going on. And yet they still go. And there is something that I realize it's really worth honoring in that compulsion that young men and perhaps young women have to protect. In the movie Dances with Wolves, with all its flaws around Native America and all its limitations, there was a line that Kevin Costner said that was really poignant. He was a Civil War veteran. Well, I think the Civil War at the time of that movie had just wound up, and he had fought in that war. And he had talked about, at the end of a battle between one native tribe and another, and they held off the attack and were successful in that battle. And he said there was such a huge difference. I'm not going to paraphrase it well, but there was an enormous difference between this battle and the other battles I've fought. This was not a battle fought for dark political objectives. It was a battle fought to protect those close to them. It was a battle fought to protect our food stores. It was a battle fought to protect our children and our future. And that made all the difference. And that, to me, is what's worth honoring in Memorial Day. However complicated and however even abused that desire is by those dark political objectives, there's something that is honorable about wanting to protect and wanting to live an honorable life. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, David. 11 minutes, huh? Wow. Very well done. Thank you very much. Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I think it's going to be a pretty day when the stuff overcast gets away. Have some announcements. A week from Thursday, book group. Monday night, Healing Circle, 7 o'clock, ongoing. Today is potluck, excuse me. Just everyone is welcome. Next Sunday, we're going to have Crystal's daughter, Lauren, sing special music. So I'm looking forward to that. And, we now have a way to use PayPal if you choose to make a donation to Church of the Oaks. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to put it in the newsletter, and I'll mention it again, but Ward kind of bumped me on the forehead this morning and said, don't forget to tell him. So I had to write, it's to use your PayPal. It's COTO, like Church of the Oaks, donations, all one word, at gmail.com. That's not too hard to remember. COTO donations at gmail.com. And that's how you can do your PayPal stuff. We're going to see how all this works out, and I'm glad we finally, after 7 years of discussion, finally have a way to do electronic donations. This is the best part that I can think of being a minister at Church of the Oaks. And that is on the days when we induct new members into Church of the Oaks. So, I would like our board moderator, David, Linda, and Mark to please come forward. Yeah. Come right on up here. And watch your step, watch your step. We do have insurance though, so it's all right. You'll have ease. All right, David, you have some things to tell them.
Linda Hensman and Mark Chang. As moderator of the board of directors, it is my pleasure to present to you your official membership card and a copy of the bylaws and constitution of the Church of the Oaks. You are now a shareholder in this nonprofit that was incorporated in the state of California in 1907 and is the oldest active corporation in the county. Along with all the members, you are now expected to join us in being responsible stewards of our assets, our 3 beautiful buildings and this corner property that we have at Sierra and Page. We ask that as a steward, that you commit your support in the form of some of your time, some of your talent, some of your thoughts, and some of your treasure. Not just with the Church of the Oaks, but also to benefit the larger communities that we are all a part of. Linda, Mark, congratulations and welcome to our church family. And ladies and gentlemen of the congregation, help me welcome our newest members. Linda and Mark.
Thank you, David. Mark, here's a book that I think has been one of the best books I've read in the last 2 decades. Linda, there's a very simple recipe for having a wonderful life. So thank you both for taking the initiative and having the desire to be part of our family. And again, we welcome you. And there's one other great part of being a minister. This is the time I get to sit down and talk with our youngest member. Taylor, would you like to come up and say hi? Oh. Wow, look at this girl. She's so pretty every Sunday. How are you doing? Good. Did you get your coloring book back there? Oh, well, that's good. We have to have a coloring book to get through my talk, don't we? Absolutely. What happened? Your foot come out of your shoe?
She wants to show you her nails. She went and got them done for the first time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. You need a hand or you got it? Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay. Are there any other announcements? If not, then let's stand up and sing It's a Special, oh, Bonnie.
Due to the lateness that I got here, you have to get your own chairs for potluck. And get those, but we did get the table stuff.
Okay. Well, that's only 3 demerits, Bonnie. No gold star today, kid. All right, thank you. Let's stand up and sing It's a Special Day.
Something is occurring, something new is stirring, something of the Spirit blesses me today. Heaven and Jesus warming, totally transforming, something of the Spirit blesses me today. Knowledge is provided, I am being guided, something of the Spirit blesses me with life. I am perfectly leading to the good I'm needing. Something of the Spirit blesses me with life. I accept my blessing, though I'm expressing something of the Spirit. Glory is good. Every trouble ceasing, all my joy increasing. Something of the Spirit blesses me with good. It's a special day. I can feel it dearly in a special way. It's a special day. It's a special day. I can feel it dearly in a special way.
Is that the end? All right. Now it's time that we can share some light, share some love, share some support with each other.
Oh, there's an extra page on that song. That was fun. That extra page was messing up all my printout.
I could hear the hesitation when you heard us continue to sing. So I sang loud.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I play off of printouts, and that second page was not on the printout. So, yeah, sorry about that.
Well, you and Bonnie both get demerits today.
There it
Cody.
Oh, you are? Thank you. I'll put it on my, in my wallet. So I'll lose it.
What's that? Thank you. Feels good to share our abundance, our light, our love, and our caring. Let's read together the affirmation of abundance, please. Gratitude is the key to the realization and manifestation of abundance. May we ponder that a moment, sir. Thank you, Michael. As we prepare for our practice this morning, let's sing together In the Stillness of the Silence, number 97 in the wind.
Good morning. So on the topic of abundance, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the abundance that we have here in this room, in each of our hearts. And I'm going to invite each of you to place both of your hands over that high spiritual heart area. This is where your power, your God self resides. And by just taking a moment at any time, but especially here in this group together, to put our attention on this place, we are amplifying its power, amplifying its healing ability in every aspect of our lives. Breathe into that here. And see if you can feel the group energy. It's not just you individually, it's this whole family of light. And I would say not only those of us here physically, but all of our angels, guides, and ancestors as well. We come here for the common purpose of healing and spiritual growth. You are never, ever alone. Even when you're sure that you are. Let this light from your heart expand now. And join with the lights from every heart in this room. Becoming more and much more than the sum of the parts. Filling the whole room with the golden light of healing, gratitude, abundance, and joy. Thank you for being part of this. Namaste.
Thank you, Natalie and Michael. Does anybody know how Memorial Day actually started? Really? Well, about a month after the end of the war, the 1st of May, the Civil War, the 1st of May in 1865, and I got it written down here so I don't make a mistake. Charleston, South Carolina. There was a prison, a Confederate prison camp there, having Northern soldiers held captive. And of those soldiers, about 260 of them had died and were just thrown in a hole in the ground. And about 12,000 Charleston black citizens had a parade. And 3,000 black children carried flowers to put on the graves of these fallen soldiers. It's the first one, a month after the Civil War ended, started by black folks. 3 years later, the following years, some more towns decided to have Decoration Day. And then in 1868, Congress declared May 30th official Decoration Day to honor the war heroes of the Civil War. And that went on for about 100 years. And then in 1967, it was officially the name changed from Decoration Day to Memorial Day, and changed from the 30th of May to the last Monday in May to create a 3-day holiday weekend so people could get together and have celebration. And there's some things, I ran across some very interesting poems and writings about Decoration Day. And the first one I'm going to read is by Sheldon Lubin. And It's all about 1865, May 1st. Decoration Day, created to honor the enslaved African Americans in the Civil War who fought for their own emancipation and liberation and for their health and the integrity of this country. American history stole that one too, made it Memorial Day. All soldiers matter? That's a very provocative piece of poetry. But I think we thinking folks can handle it. I hope we can. I would like to read as well that same author. I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. I've got like 4 poems going on in my head here. I'm going to read the Gettysburg Address. Gettysburg was a unique battle in the Civil War. 600,000 people died during that war, those 4 years, 600,000. World War II, we lost 300,000. World War I, we lost 100,000. On our own shore, we lost 600,000 people in 4 years. Gettysburg, there were 50,000 deaths in 3 days in an area smaller than the city limits of Catawba. Can you imagine 50,000 people laying on the ground? I just watched a documentary about Gettysburg 3 days ago. They had to put lime on everything to make it so that the rodents and the buzzards and the disease didn't spread. But the government did hire 10 black people to dig the graves for what 2 years later became the Gettysburg National Cemetery. 10 for 50,000 people. Not 100, not 500, 10. I'm going to read what President Lincoln wrote shortly after the Gettysburg battle. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come here to dedicate a portion of that field as the final resting place for those who have given their lives, that a nation might live. It's altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. This world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure and devotion. They were highly resolved. May we be resolved that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from this earth. I don't know, Memorial Day has become a holiday, and we think about our soldiers and our loved ones who have gone on before us. But I wonder, have we lost some of the honor that Lincoln talked about? I'm going to read another poem, and I can't say this guy's name very well, I don't think. Alujit Naskar. It's a Memorial Day sonnet. We don't want your celebration. We don't want you to honor us. All we want is for you to grow up and end all this tribalism that kills us. 1,000 holidays can't bring us back, nor can they wipe the tears of our spouses. How will you console our children? How will you comfort our broken parents? Enough with your flowers and rituals. Enough with your crocodile care. If you have an iota of humanity, step up and make all divides disappear. Yet, if you still want to live life as tribal, rest assured, we'll still give ours with a smile. He went on to write another short paragraph after that. Civilized beings take responsibility for the conflicts of the world and actively work towards a future that needs no 24/7 military. Rather than accepting the death of a soldier as the norm and celebrating it as a glorious occasion. I think we could all stand to think a little bit about what we accept as normal. We're losing less lives due to war. This country, we're using great new technology. But the consciousness hasn't changed. If we look back even at the Civil War, what did that actually change? Those 50,000 people, Americans that died, half and half, each having a side, believing, willing to give their lives on those beliefs. What did it change? We had some laws created, and then we had social movements and social consciousness almost totally overturn those laws. It's been 150 years, 160 years. And we're just starting to get to the point of true freedom and equality for American peoples. I think the battle here, the conflict, the confrontation is all about our consciousness, not violence. You stop and think, oh, there have been great wars and battles. But violence has never solved a problem. It has demanded people to comply and conform, but it has never solved a single problem since people began. And I think, haven't we learned anything? Some haven't. But I think a lot of us have. We're sitting here together today. And we actually take the time to think about things and try to determine to the best of our ability what is truth. What is truth in our beliefs? What is truth in spirituality, in the unseen? What is truth in the seen? What is truth in our day-to-day lives? And when we establish what that means to us, the truth, hopefully that will give us the inspiration to live our lives with a consciousness of compassion and peace and harmony with each other, with all of nature, with the divine, with the unseen as well as the seen. And I've hauled a lot of body bags in my life in Vietnam. And I don't think that there has ever been a day that I don't honor the men and women who have put it all on the line for this country. Not a day. I just wish that those efforts had recently especially been based on truth and based on real maintaining freedom, maintaining peace, maintaining equality. And I think we have a great challenge here, family, and that is to determine what truth is. Determine what it is, like David spoke so wonderfully this morning. What are we willing to give up everything for? Protecting our way of life, protecting our families. And I think we have been deceived as a society so much. And I think we need to, each of us, go inside and consider what is truth. And determine our beliefs and our feelings and our reactions and responses. And I think what Vivian Clark, the first Sunday I sat here in the year 2000 and listened to her, she talked, she said, facts change every minute. The truth never does. And may each of us do whatever it takes to determine what truth is in our lives. Seen and unseen. And then carry that truth forward in our lives. We need to be truthful. I used to tell my kids, I don't care what happened, just tell me the truth. Because if I don't know the truth, I can't come up with a proper response. And I think all of us need to determine what, to the best of our ability, what truth is, so that we can respond and maybe improve situations or help make situations better, our lifestyles better. So I hope that each of us can, in our own way, have great affection in our remembrance of the people who have served this country. And not necessarily just the ones that died. There are millions of people walking the face of the earth right now with severe disabilities, mental illness, due to the hideous inhumanity of war. And I think as a citizen of the human race, it's our responsibility to address our fellow human beings living, dead, maimed, disabled, with honor and especially truth. And so it is. Let's stand up and sing a song. I would be true, and really think about the words. And after the song, I would like Linda and Cody and Mark to join me in the back to greet people and allow people to greet our newest members as they leave. So I would be true, Maestro.